Welcome to Lesson 8 Part B of Youth by Isaac Asimov. Today's learning intention, just to remind you, is to learn about characterization and about narrative structure. And our success criteria, we'll know we'll be successful if we can explain what characterization is, give evidence that a character has developed in this story, and show an understanding of how stories are structured and what effect that has on the reader. So we're going to move on now and read Chapter 10. Chapter 10 is a very, very short chapter, so this video is not going to be very long at all. And then it'll be on to the tasks for today. Let's get started with Chapter 10. The astronomer was saying, "A quiet burial is all we can do. There's no point in any publicity now," when they heard the screams. She had not entirely recovered by the time she reached them, running and running. It was minutes before her husband could extract sense from her. She was saying finally, "I tell you, they're in the barn. I don't know what they are. No, no." She barred the industrialist's quick movement in that direction. She said, "Don't you go. Send one of the hands with a shotgun. I tell you, I never saw anything like it. Little horrible beasts with... I can't describe it. To think that Red was touching them and trying to feed them. He was holding them and feeding them meat." Red began, "I only..." and Slim said, "It was not..." The industrialist said quickly, "Now, boys, you've done enough harm today. March into the house, and not a word, not one word. I'm not interested in anything you have to say. After all this is over, I'll hear you out, and as for you, Red, I'll see that you're properly punished." He turned to his wife. "Now, whatever the animals are, we'll have them killed," he added quietly once the youngsters were out of hearing. Come, the children aren't hurt, and after all, they haven't done anything really terrible. They've just found a new pet." The astronomer spoke with difficulty. "Pardon me, ma'am, but can you describe these animals?" She shook her head. She was quite beyond words. "Can you just tell me if they..." "I'm sorry," said the industrialist apologetically, "but I think I had better take care of her. Will you excuse me?" "A moment, please. One moment." She said she had never seen such animals before. Surely it is not usual to find animals that are completely unique on an estate such as this. "I'm sorry. Let's not discuss that now." "Except that unique animals might have landed during the night?" The industrialist stepped away from his wife. "What are you implying?" "I think we had better go to the barn, sir." The industrialist stared a moment, turned, and suddenly, and quite uncharacteristically, began running. The astronomer followed, and the woman's wail rose unheeded behind them. Right, so that was Chapter 10. I love that chapter. I love as an ending. We had a slightly darker ending to the chapters before, and that is just such a funny image of the industrialist sprinting full force away while his wife wails behind him. So you're going to move to Part C, and you're going to do a little bit of task work now based on those two chapters. So away we go. Enjoy Part C.